Hello and welcome to episode 77 of the MTG Conflux cast. My name is John, and I'm joined this week by my co-host, Chris.
Hey.
This week, we're going to be doing a bit of a debrief on what we've been up to the last few weeks, as well as talking about the Modern Showcase Challenge from this past weekend, as well as the SCG Indy Open from the off week where we did a video, which you should check out on our YouTube channel. Let me just plug that real quick. We are doing video content every week now. We have the podcast in video form, and on the off week, we have some sort of MTGO video. Either it's us playing a sweet deck very badly, or it's one of us trying hard with a good deck and then hopefully playing better as well. So I think it's time for you to do an Amulet video or something, Chris.
Yeah, recently I've been getting kind of shit on, so
yeah,
some poor content there.
Poor content online. Well, we're going to get into our weekly roundup. So I know you haven't been doing quite so shitty in paper, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so while I can't seem to cash a league online, the past two FNMs I went 4-0 both weeks.
Excellent.
No splits, kill them all.
Yeah, the good stuff.
So 2 weeks ago, I didn't change my deck at all between the 2 weeks. I thought about trying out a slightly different build, and then ultimately became too lazy to do so. So that just means it's the best list ever, right? So,
too lazy, go 8-0.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I played against blue-white, more of a traditional blue-white control list. I guess the guy had been away from Modern for a while. Back when blue-white was the bee's knees.
You have like a Terminus and stuff still?
No, not quite like that. But you know, when like Force of Negation first came out.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
It's like, oh man, like the Jace is so good, and
yeah,
blah blah blah. He's playing like Logic Knot.
So a little bit like pre-Stoneforge, basically.
Yeah, before the Stoneforge era. He got slapped.
Yeah. Is he playing 4 fields?
He may have been, but I don't
no
think...
Aether Gust, probably.
Probably not. And I don't think that he played the deck before or after Field of the Dead became a thing.
Really changes the texture of the control versus Amulet matchup. Yeah.
So, yeah, he died to some zombies.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, that always felt like a really bad matchup for Control. And then Control started playing a pile of fields and it was like, oh, suddenly the matchup was like good again. And then Field of the Dead got printed and it wasn't very good anymore.
Yeah, just like, oh man, like I need to field literally everything. I need to field the bounce land so I don't die to a fast Titan. I need to field like the haste land so we can't die to these random shitters. I field the dead, otherwise I die to zombies.
But now it's like they have Stoneforge. I
have to field the cavern so I don't die to Titan. Like,
yeah, they have Stoneforge and Aether Gust now, so it's like better, right? Like it's actually probably a pretty. Is it a close matchup now?
Well, so funny you should mention that because round 3 I played against the blue-white Stoneblade deck. I didn't see Aether Gust out of them. Maybe they just didn't draw it or something.
Not playing 4 copies. Rookie mistake.
But I will say so. That deck doesn't play like hardly any permission other than like a couple cryptic commands, which means you can't interact with like Azusa at all. I
know a lot of versions, well, not a lot. Some versions are playing a couple like 2 to 3 spell callers, which seems decent.
Oh, that's true. But
yeah,
there's no 2 mana counter spell. Right?
Yeah, there's no like mana leaky, logic naughty type stuff really going around. Some people play a couple snares or pierces, but those aren't really as good as the 2 mana interaction against you.
Yeah, neither of those work against 3 mana idiots either.
Yeah, exactly.
So Stoneforge on the one hand like presents a much faster clock than traditional blue-white. On the other hand, who cares? Stoneforge, like Squire is not a very threatening card for the Primeval Titan deck.
I mean, they can't guarantee a win by going long against anymore with field though. So I mean, it is important that they have a much faster clock than they used to, right? Like,
yeah, but they pretty much have to get Sword of Feast and Famine, and they have to like
Yeah, it's true.
It's really hard to interact with me and get a fast Sword of Feast and Famine online.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like have the right draw where you have an early Stoneforge and don't get immediately punished for it, and then have enough permission to keep me off of Titan long enough to get your sword going, and then you need more answers once the sword is online.
Yeah.
To take advantage of the factor in tapping all your lands. Otherwise, they just rip a Titan off the top and you die to it anyway.
You need like Stoneforge, and then on the third turn, they need you to like not cast a must answer threat so they can put the sword in, and then they like equip the sword on like 4. So they really want to have like a Jace to like power it up too. It's like they want like the Stoneforge, the sword, the Jace. But
you can't tap out for Jace.
And the counter magic. The only, you have to tap out for Jace on 4, basically, after you have the sword. Right? So it's like, you need to like have the best possible card each turn with permission in hand, it seems like, to have like the nice curve out. Because sword plus Jace is insane.
Yeah.
Because you can tap out on 4 and not go shields down.
But there's a lot of things you need to do. And so I've lost a blue-eyed online with, like the Sword of Feast and Famine, which is insane because your zombie tokens are black. So you just literally can't never block this thing ever.
That's why they play it. Well, one of the reasons.
But sometimes they just, like I 2-0'd the Stoneblade guy at FNM, and he said the matchup felt really bad because like he taps out. He's like, oh, turn 2 Stoneforge Bishop. I'm like, okay, cool. Untap, because I played turn 1 Grazer or turn 1 Amulet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, cool. Azusa, land, go. He's like, okay. Like, he's sitting there with 3 mana, and he wants to drop the sword into play, but I know he's just sitting there on what? A Spell Queller? I just cast Primeval Titan, and like, what does he do?
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. You get a sword, I have a Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
I
Big
think
difference.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because the Primeval Titan gets like field, right? And something else. So like, maybe I make 2 zombies out of the deal. So okay, you path Titan and I get another zombie.
Yeah.
So do you now have to beat 6 power, you have to raise my 6 power of zombies plus 7 if you include the Azusa, right? And I'm still drawing cards and doing things, And every time I play, if I have the Azusa, I just play the bounce line and boom, there's 6 more power. Like you're not racing that,
Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
Field of the Dead is a good one.
Cards like Batterskull just don't really matter.
No, not really. Yeah, the sword is kind of, I guess, the one you have to get.
Yeah, and post board I don't think got any better because I have more fields. And explosives just seems really good because explosives on 2 kills the squire and then the sword does nothing to go on, and then it's just like useless.
Cool.
Or you put it on 3 and it kills the sword and any spell quellers floating around. I mean, I'm also playing a little non-standard in Vapor. I'm still on that sweet Academy Ruins tech, but
so good.
Yeah, really good against Infect, which I played around too, and somehow managed to beat Infect. I think it was a combination of me getting a little lucky and him playing a little too greedy. Game 1, I die as you would expect. Blighted Agent into Scale Up Might of Old Kroza. Ooh. Game 2, he wants his... Plays his... Like, turn 1 Glistener Elf, I dismember it, and then he just never drew an Infector ever again.
Cool.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
And then game 2, he went turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Blight Agent plus Glistener Elf. And all I had was Dismember and, like, maybe like Zeus and some lands and some shit. And I'm like, okay, well... Dismember Blight Agent. Hope something good happens. And I untapped and ripped a Blister. I'm like, alright, cool. Blister for 1, shoot your Glistener off. He's like, ah. And proceeded to like never draw an Infector again.
Excellent.
I guess he drew an Inkwell Nexus way too late.
I
already had like a Titan with Ghost Quarter and everything. And a Force of Vigor. And I rebought my Blister with my Academy Ruins.
God, Academy Ruins is so gross.
Yeah. Turns out if he had just like not played Glistener Elf, he could have held up a protection spell for his Blight Agent, and then I would have probably lost.
weeks.
But he played them both and got punished.
Too hasty.
I guess I also lose to like a mutagenic growth, but you know.
Yeah, they don't always have it.
And then for the for the final match of 2 weeks ago, I played against good old Sam. For those of you unfamiliar with Sam,
deck archetype Sam, player name Sam.
Sam is the innovation of Sacramento's martyr scene. Martyr of Sands, in case you're confused what martyr we could be referring to.
Martyr of Sams.
There are many martyrs.
Martyr of Sams.
And
Chris's monitor goes dark as though he's entering in the witness protection program as he's about to divulge this deck's secrets. Turns into a silhouette.
Yeah, so Sam's deck has gone through many iterations. Back in the day, he used to play actually Soul Sisters way back. And that, of course, was not very good at against the Primal Titan decks at all. And he changed over to Martyr Proclamation of Rebirth, which was about the same. Potentially a little bit better because it had the potential to go like turn 1 Saracen, turn 2 Martyr Crack, attack you for 6, and hope to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Soul Sisters doesn't really have that ability, I don't think. I mean, maybe it does, but
I don't know.
It's bad. Soul Sisters is a bad deck. Also, getting to play a bunch of Ghost Coders and shit, like, kind of helps, but not really. The deck is just more value-oriented and not particularly fast, and has a really difficult time beating a Resolve Primeval Titan, which is difficult to prevent, considering you're a white deck with no counter magic. So yeah, it's just a poor matchup for old Sam there.
His deck is interesting. It's gone from being, it's really kind of really become mono white control. And I was talking to someone about this recently. Actually, you know, there used to be more non-blue control decks in Magic, like tap out control decks. You had like mono black control back in the day, and there's been other, you know, non-blue control decks, and his deck really is a mono white like tap out control deck, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and so it got a lot of different tools throughout the years. He was playing Karns when Michael's and Gladys was still legal, because it gave the mono white deck a way to like win on the spot, right? And you know, having a wish board for artifacts is pretty good in your monocolored deck.
Definitely.
Also, what really helped him out a lot was the printing of Ranger Captain of EOS. So he can go fetch up like a Sarah or a Martyr or a Walking Ballista, or even now there's Giant Killer.
Yeah. The deck has gotten almost as many. Actually, it's probably gotten more new tools than Amulet has, which is saying something, because Amulet has really been a deck that has just gotten heaps of cards added to his pool lately.
Like, Karn was cool and all, but Karn got dropped, I think, as soon as Stoneforge Mystic was unbanned.
Yeah.
It's just like a way, it's just 2 mana to get, you know, a card in your hand instead of 4.
And they've got the bad mom now, and
I don't think he plays Stepmom, does he?
I thought he did.
I don't think so.
He plays like Oketra.
Yeah, he plays fucking Oketra. It's also an Emiria deck, in case you get, you know, goes long enough, just Emiria back your shit.
It's very, very grindy.
Emiriaing back your Ranger Captain seems pretty good, considering you can sack it to bring it back every turn if you want. Yeah, and now he got like the new Heliod, so he's Walking Ballista, like he has a combo in there.
Yeah, the deck is just like, it's got a lot going on now. It's still like a pretty solid mono white control deck that has like grindy combo elements as well.
Yeah, you could even like, you know, Chumperuskis all day long with your Squad Hawk Mistvale Plains loop.
Yeah. It comes at you from a few different angles, which is cool. It's a fun deck to play against, actually.
Yeah.
And
deck tries really hard to not die.
That deck did not like playing against Oko. Oko was problematic for that deck for a variety of reasons. It's like, Oh, cool. Nice artifact. I'm gonna make it a 3/3.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, whatever I'm playing usually just dumpster Sam though. Or whatever variant Sam's playing. So I remember back in the day, I think Sam went up to like 60 something life off of sacking 2 Martyr Sands mid combat, which was unfortunate because I was attacking him for over 70 damage.
Huh.
Yeah, turns out playing Hornet Queen and Crater Hoof on the same turn is quite an overrun.
Yikes. Crater Hoof is like $50, by the way.
Really?
I saw at the GP this weekend, yeah.
For non-foil regulars? That's insane.
Yeah, like $50.
That's insane.
Yep.
It was reprinted recently.
That's a brain blast for all of you. Yeah, like $50 for a Crater Hoof.
Wow.
Not what I would have guessed.
Why? No one plays that card. It's not even legal in Pioneer.
Yeah, don't know. There's like
Strange.
2 alternatives legal, though, which is funny.
Yeah, there's like
Razor of Realms or whatever.
Not the Raze Boar.
There's
the Emerge card.
Yeah, it's something of Realm or of Realms or
I forget what it's called.
And then there's the one from Guilds, right?
Yeah,
it's like fixed.
Everything
fixed
is like +2 trample. Nice. It's like kind of overrun esque.
They're both.
It's like a 7/7.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay replacements for a Crater Hoof, I guess.
Yeah, they're okay.
Serviceable. Mole Hoof, but yeah, you can play Oops All Hoofs and EDH.
Yeah, so I denied Sam his 4-0.
And then this past week, what did you play against?
So this past week, it was quite a different flavor of decks. So it was like blue white, infect, mono white, and then we went from that to a Thoughtseize deck, a Thoughtseize deck, a Thoughtseize deck, a Thoughtseize deck.
Pretty bad against big mana.
So round 1 I played against Jund, and this was very bizarre because I got Liliana ulted in 2 games and won both of them.
What the fuck? Huh.
Yeah, one of the times the Lily went to 7 and ulted me, and I still won the game.
That's a big yikes. Jeez.
I think that was because he just could not find a threat like ever.
It's just like lands and discard and Liliana.
So he was like Lily plussing, so he's like discarding his own shit too. So we had like the new red-black Titan.
Crookside.
But he couldn't find a 4th land or a threat.
That's pretty unlucky.
Yeah, so he was just sitting there, and as his one card in hand apparently was a Bloodbraid Elf, which he also couldn't cast with his 3 lands.
Wow.
I think his 4th land was like a Blackleaf Glyphs or something.
That's the worst. Oh.
So by the time his Titan came into play, I was able to play my own Titan off the top after getting Lily ulted.
Wow. That's tilting. You did not. I don't know if you deserve that one, but.
And he couldn't erase my Titan because I baked zombie blockers.
Yeah, and got lands. You went from having 6 to 8 to yikes.
Yeah, so I think this past week it was just like Amulet was the
Amulet
was the real story of the night. The next game I don't remember exactly what happened as far as how I beat the Lily ult again. I think he ulted it at 6, so he lost the Lily, but I basically had like 3 lands and a bounce land, and he's like, you can have 3 lands and a bounce land. I was like, okay, I guess I'll keep it the 3 lands. And then I was like, oh look, well, here's like an Azusa, play a bounce land, pick up land, play a land. Next turn, oh look, another land. Oh look, a Titan.
Awesome.
Yeah. Then I played against 4-color Shadow.
Excellent.
Which is easier to beat than Grixis Shadow, in my opinion. Not a free matchup by any means, but
just less interaction, like on the stack, or
yeah. So the reason being is it's much easier for me to interact with the 4-color Shadow deck because I can't kill. I really have a really hard time killing Gurmag Angler.
It's one of those.
Agent Explosives deck is not so scared of 1 and 2 drops as your only threats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Garmog Angler finds some really weird pressure points against decks sometimes where like the really efficient toolbox that modern decks tend to favor just kind of whiff on Garmog Angler.
Yeah, and like Bajuka Ball can kind of slow down Tarmogoyf. But the big fish is always a 5/5.
Yeah.
It's always going to kill you in 4 hits.
Real big fish.
Yeah, so 4 colors is a little bit easier. And I was sideboarding to Veil Summer this week. I think both weeks, actually. But
Nice.
So I got to veil some number of Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes and shit. Which feels good, man.
Oh, yeah. 2-for-1s. Please ban. GG, no re.
Yeah, so Shadow Guy. Rip in pieces. Then I played against Esper Control, who's also playing Thoughtseize. Not in the main deck, though. So, game 1, I don't exactly remember what happened. I think I may have found my cavern, and that was kind of it. Also, Phil that Ed's insane against these control decks.
Mm-hmm.
But much more controlling slanted. He was playing Supreme Verdict. And that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Game 2, I think it was game 2, he had this very awkward spot where he knows I have a cavern and I have like, I think it's like Bounce Land, Garenbrig, and a cavern in my hand. So he has a Field of Runes. So he's like, well, if he fields my castle, I get a forest, untap, play my cavern, uncounterable Titan. If he fields the Bounce Land, I just play the cavern, makes 4 mana, activate the castle, play the Titan. So he can't actually keep me off of 6 mana next turn. But if he fields me, he can't hold up counter magic either.
Yeah.
So it's a really tough spot. So he goes for the field anyway and gets a swamp. I was like, oh no, please don't Thoughtseize me. But he didn't. So I got to play my Titan. And he actually died to Academy Ruins looping on Ballista in game 2. He verdicted like 2 Titans and a Ballista. But I just kept playing a 3/3 Ballista every single turn, and eventually he couldn't beat it.
Yeah. Fancy that. Like 3/3 that just like fucking shock or bolts you if you try to kill it. Like,
yeah, and like I couldn't even, I had nothing else, no other action. But I mean, I was like, well, is a random card better than his Ballista? Like, probably not.
You can't even path it to get rid of it, and if you just leave it and play, it just grows. It's so gross.
So he hit this Colonnade, right? But I play it through the Ballista. So if you take a turn off to attack with the Colonnade, I just pump it to 4 and attack you back,
and then kill it.
And then I can just kill your Ballista, your Colonnade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was at like
and do
10,
it again.
so I had the ability to pump it twice. So if he attacks me with Colonnade, he just dies. I go from 3 to 5, attack him for 5, shoot him for 5, and he dies on the spot. So he like couldn't actually attack me either. So I think he had to like block with this Colonnade once to try and like survive, and it's
gross.
Yeah, couldn't get there. And like you at that point, you're a deck with Thoughtseizes in it, and you're like, oh man, how do I beat this Ballistic top decks every turn with Thoughtseize? That ain't it. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
So Academy Ruins kind of a bad card, but
it's so good.
When it works, it's hot.
The card's really good.
Yeah. So then in round 4, play against another 4-color shadow deck.
Well, I know next week to be prepared for a lot of fucking shadow, apparently. Jeez.
And so this is why it's MU luck. Both times I top decked like exactly what I like, the perfect thing. So in game 1, I have like, I think I'm all a 6, and it's like packed 5 lands. I'm like, this is not very good, but I know I'm playing against the Thoughtseize deck. I don't want to go to 5, so here goes nothing. So like, play my land, go, and he's like, Inquisition, take the pack. Like, yep, that's a thing. I like draw nothing. I think I draw like a Titan on my turn. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have a Titan, 5 lands. Whoop-de-doo. Like play my second land, pass back to him. He's like, oh, Tarmogoyf. I'm like, okay, cool. Untap off the top. Like, oh look, Once Upon a Time. Yep, haven't played any spells this game. This is free. It's like, oh yeah, turn 3 free Once Upon a Time. How about that?
That's both awesome and not awesome.
And so I like, oh look, an Azusa. Play a third land, play Azusa, play 2 lands, go. He's like, untap, thanks, like, you know, like plays some non-Thoughtseize cards.
Yeah.
I like untap. Hey look, here's a Titan I had here all along. And he did the die.
Yeah. Gross.
And then kind of the same thing, post board, I like, it's like, oh, Thoughtseize, like, take your Amulet, next turn Inquisition, take your Dryad of the Elysian Grove or whatever the hell it's called. And I'm like, oh man, now all I have is like this Titan and some lands off the top. Oh, look, an Azusa. Play land, Azusa, play 2 lands, go. And he's like, I don't have any more Thoughtseize. It's like, that's unfortunate.
Oh. We've been here before. Oh man.
Never didn't have it.
Gross. So Azusa OP. How many copies you playing?
4.
4. Okay. We'll talk about number of Azusa in deck lists later when we get to the Modern Showcase and SCG. Not Indy, but the Showcase. I guess it's got a lot of Amulet decks. We can talk.
I don't know. Azusa just seems so good, right? It like guarantees you have enough mana for a Titan the next turn.
Don't know, man.
And like they can't really interact with it if you play the right lands.
Yeah. You don't do the big suck.
I mean, sometimes you have no choice. It's always funny when you have to play a land that has a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, Bojuka Bog target you, I guess. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'll play a bounce land, pick up something else. Like, okay. Like, with the bounce trigger on the stack, I'll bolt Azusa. I'm like, okay.
Huh.
I accept.
Strange.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay. I don't even need to deny your land drop. All right.
Yeah. Got so many cards. Yeah.
Anyway, John, what have you been up to in Magic? I unfortunately was not able to join you in the GP Reno experience this past weekend, but
yeah,
sounds like you had
I went on an adventure. I went on a really short, compact GP experience in Reno. I was busy on Sunday, so I decided I would go up on Friday night and then come back Saturday night. The problem was after we'd planned it all, the weather was unusually warm, but then like a freaky, strange snowstorm thing was coming through on Saturday night, and we have to go through like Truckee, which is like a really high point that has really cold temperatures and snows. It snows. You need chains. They put chain control in, and like you're not supposed to drive. It's not safe to drive, and it's also I don't think legal to drive without chains either. And I don't own chains. I didn't really feel like buying chains to go to a fucking GP for a day.
And my understanding is if you've never used chains before, putting them on it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, there's a variety of reasons to not want to do that. So decided to go and keep a close eye on the weather and just sneak out before the weather came in, because turns out Doppler radar makes staying ahead of weather fairly easy if you keep on top of it. So anyways, we drove up Friday night and we got there just in time to play in the last event of the evening, which was it was like a Pioneer event, Pioneer 3 daily or whatever at the GP. And the drive was pretty easy, actually. I was surprised how easy it was to drive from Sacramento to Reno. It was easier than driving to the Bay, I think, which I didn't realize. So that's kind of cool.
No, like bridges and tolls and shit.
Yeah, it's just less traffic.
Just way less people going that way. Right?
I don't know if it's actually shorter or not, but it sure as hell felt shorter. Anyways, yeah, it was definitely an easier trip. And it was pretty small, like the space, allotted. It was like kind of like do you remember when they used to have SCG events on the West Coast? No, you never went to one? It was like that size, if that makes sense. This is not the same size as a GP. And so it was Friday night, so it's like, well, okay, maybe they're going to open up some more space or whatever. They didn't. That was the size of the event, which I'll get to in a bit. But I played in the Friday Night Pioneer. I was playing Blue-Black Inverter, and I think it was only me and maybe one other person on Inverter. And I think there was like one person on the Lotus Breach deck, and everything else was just like random decks. So I played against like green-black mid-range the first round, and my opponent definitely did not know what I was doing. And they died very quickly both games. They were playing like Vraska's Contempts and like the Nissa Who Shakes the World and lands and like a bunch of Fatal Pushes that didn't do anything. I don't know. They just didn't seem to have very many relevant cards. I don't know. It was strange. So I beat them. In the second round, I played against Mono White Devotion, which was actually just like mono white Gideons. God, they had so many Gideons, dude. It's like must have been 4 Gideon of the Trials, and then like some number of Gideon ally of Zendikar, and they were also playing Gideon's Intervention, which if you're not familiar with that one, it's like I think it's like 4 mana. Like name a card, you have protection from the card. They can't cast the card.
Oh, it's like Nevermore plus Ruined Halo.
Yeah, just slap that shit on a one fucking card. Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare. And then they brought in Rest in Peace too. And so and they're still playing like, you know, the Ballista combo and Nykthos Shrine to Nyx and a bunch of random duders and all that crap. And so and I don't remember if it was I think I won that one 2-0, or did I die one game to like random beats? I forget. But one of the post-board games, the one that actually was like an interesting game, if there was even 3 games, they like resolved a Rest in Peace fairly early, because I like had to Thoughtseize them and take like a Gideon or something, and I just had to like let them have a Rest in Peace, knowing it was like, well, this is going to be a thing now. And I had like, I don't know if I had 1 dig or 2 digs in hand at that point, but that game I hard cast 3 dig 3 times back to back turns.
Just 8 mana.
Yeah, I ended the game. I ended the game with like, I want to say like 10 or 11 mana in play, or maybe it was 12 mana in play. And I had on the last turn of the game, I had just an absurd stack of cards in hand, and I just had a ton of cards and a ton of mana. And I had been milling myself with a Jace Wilder Mysteries. I had like 6 cards left in my deck, and Inverter of Truth had been like nevermored by Gideon's Intervention, and people watching were wondering why I wasn't winning, because they didn't realize that Gideon's Intervention was naming Inverter. They're like, why hasn't he killed this guy like ages ago? I had like multiple people ask me afterwards why I just didn't kill him. I was like, can't cast Inverter of Truth. It's an enchantment. I have no way to deal with this thing.
I'm blue and black.
Yeah. And so I ended up like I have like Jason play, and then I have like God, I had like 6 cards in deck, and I had, with Thassa's Oracle, I had up to 6 devotion. So I was like, do all the thing. Okay, cool. Thassa's Oracle you. And he's like, okay. I was like, you die? He's like, no. He like points at this Gideon he has in play. It's Gideon of the Trials and the emblem. I was like, oh yeah. So I'm sorry, let me backtrack a bit. It was game 3, because game 2 I lost because I did not save a way to kill a Gideon. And I had to flip my deck of Inverter, and I ended up with no way to actually get a Gideon off the field. He like played it in the in-between turn. I did the 2-turn combo, and he like played a Gideon, and I had no way left in my deck to get rid of the Gideon. So I basically early on in game 3 had a Hero's Downfall, and just like bookmarked that shit. Like, this is never getting cast until the turn I combo. And then I forgot about it because I had an absurd amount of cards in hand. I just like forgot about that whole line. And so I like lay down this Thassa's Oracle with my like, 12 mana or whatever in play. And he's like points at the Gideon and is like, so you're gonna lose next turn? I was like, oh no, my bad. Sorry. Go through the hand. Hero's Downfall, your Gideon. Play another Thassa's Oracle. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to slow roll you. I'm just terrible. I felt so bad.
You're a bad man.
I know. Well, there was like a lot of people watching. I'd literally never played the deck in favor before this event. I was just like, just feeling bad, like just bad in general at Magic and the deck. And yeah. But like, I don't know how to play combo very well, is what I've been realizing the last few weeks. I'm really bad at combo, but I do know how to play control really well. So I was like, I had the control aspect down pat, so I was definitely not gonna like lose the game. But like actually doing combo-y kill you things, playing around hate pieces is something I'm obviously really bad at. I've been discovering and to get better at this because wow, what a doozy. I've baffled the shit out of myself the last few days. I'll get into that later. Anyways, I beat Mono White Devotion guy.
Is there a baffling end on the horizon?
Yeah. And so I'm 2-0 at this point, and you can, the way they're doing the side events now is if you're 2-0, you can just say you want to split, and they don't even match you. You just get the split. You don't need an opponent to agree to the split.
I guess they don't waste the time with getting people to agree. And
yeah, so like I guess that way you don't get like sit down and your opponent like just doesn't show up, or they like want to draw, but you don't want to draw.
Split, and then you're like,
yeah, you know. And I was like, it's like, oh, you know, I want to get to play one event tonight. I want to play, and like no one else here is playing good decks as far as I can tell. So
because no splits kill them all.
I'll just slap the last person easy. And so I sit down. My opponent is this lady who's, you know, like there to have a good time, obviously, from how she's talking. She's like super nice. I had a really good time playing with her. And God, she baffled the shit out of me. The first game is like the game goes like Thraben Inspector. She has Heart of Kieran, like Gideon, like 3-mana Gideon. And then I see like I think I take like a Teferi out of her hand with like a Thoughtseize or something in the course of this game. I just get fucking beat down by Gideon becoming a dude plus Heart of Kieran. Like I just get slapped. I forgot how hard that card hits, Heart of Kieran. That was like a thing I was playing a lot of back when, you know, the cat deck was a thing.
Ogo was a thing.
Yeah, and like, oh my God, yeah. So like no one's been playing that really anymore, and I was like, God, that just ranched me. So I was like, okay, like Jeskai, like, you know, mid-rangey planeswalker stuff. Okay. So I like sideboard, you know, yada yada. And then the next game, she's just like got mono Thraben Inspectors, veteran motorist, and like vehicles. I was like, oh, okay, I guess she's actually Jeskai vehicles with like some planeswalkers. Okay. I was like, change my sideboarding. Like I took some like removal out, like, you know, she had all these planeswalkers in game one. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to like have all these fucking fatal pushes against this pile of planeswalkers. It's like, nope, fatal push coming back in, veteran motorist, like need to kill that. And then like the third game, like she has like all four, I think she had all four. It's like just Thraben Inspector's the match, man. And so we end up in this like scenario where I'm like, she has like a bunch of Thraben Inspectors, not much else going on, and I get like a Kalitas resolved, and then I like push an Inspector, so I have Kalitas plus token, and then the next turn I like shove in with both, and I just want to gain some life because I'm like a little low, and she has this like split card, and one of the sides is like Boros mana, instant, deal 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. What? Like just fucking sends my Kalitas straight to the Shadow Realm. It's like, huh, okay, like didn't have the mana or whatever for whatever reason to like, you know, make the token, to eat the token or whatever. I don't know. It was bad. It was really bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. Did not expect to get like my Kalitas slapped for 5 mid combat, let me tell you. So Kalitas dies. I don't get any life because it's before damage is done.
Yeah.
So I'm at like I'm at 6 life, and so I end up like the next turn I go like Inverter of Truth. I have like the combo over 2 turns, and she's like spell call your Inverter. I'm like, okay, if I find removal, I can like, I have enough mana to like do the thing. My graveyard is like small enough. And then so on her turn, she's got like Inspector, I want to say. Yeah, I have like a blocker, and she has like Inspector and the Spell Queller. So I'm at 6. I'll take 2 from the Queller, and I have blocks for the Inspector. And she thinks for a really long time. She's on 6 mana. She goes Fae of Wishes for, you know, she casts Granted. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably not great. What is she gonna get? And she like flips to the board, fairly quickly and pulls out a card. Boros Charm. Pulls a fucking Boros Charm out of the board, and she's like, attack you? I'm like, yeah. She's like, go to 4. I'm like, yeah. She's like, Boros Charm you? I'm like, yeah. Just hold the hand out. I was like, I'm dead. GG's.
Oh man, is that BM? The pre-combat wish for Boros Charm? All right.
It's like, oh my god.
What do you got for me?
Oh man. Yeah.
This is my plan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I like didn't have mana up or whatever. Because I think I like tapped out or tapped low for the inverter or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I was very dead. It was like, wow, I just got fucking destroyed by like homebrew Jeskai vehicles with like a Planeswalker plan B. I don't even. This is sweet. She's like, yeah, this is like my deck I've been like toying with. I was like, seems good against inverter if they can't figure out what you're doing. Like, I mean, I could have had, I think like the really combo slanted hand, that deck would have had a really hard time because like they're like, big removal spell requires attacking and blocking. It doesn't even kill an inverter anyways. But like I never had like the like do the thing on one turn type setup. So yeah, feels bad. Probably could have won that match if I'd played better, but I'm bad, so whatever. Got destroyed by Jeskai vehicles. Got my sweet 2-1. Oh, the worst part about all this was she was the pair down for me. She was 1-1.
So you both go 2-1.
So we both went 2-1. Yeah. I don't think there was anyone like, I guess like all the 2-0s and like, ID'd or whatever. Or there was an odd number of us. I don't know. So yeah. That was hubris right there. So I was like, wow, okay. What a way to start. Whatever. It was fun. I don't know. I can't be salty about it. It was pretty spicy. Like, whatever. I'm over here playing like no fun net deck, and she's like, bringing her like Jeskai vehicles, like sweet,
John's over here going full sweat.
Yeah, I definitely full sweat. Yeah, missed the net.
Getting domed by the Tachanka turret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I just got memed on. Like, I definitely got memed on big time. Like, it's bad when you're losing to the deck. You have to read all their fucking cards. So, yeah, kudos to her. She definitely destroyed me. God, pile of Thraven Inspectors every game, dude. They were just everywhere. Little bees buzzing around, pecking at me every game. It's like, I'm sure she didn't want to draw that many every game either herself, so I don't know. Like, I'm sure her deck wasn't even functioning entirely as intended. I doubt you want to see 4 Thraven Inspectors in game 3. Like, probably not ideal. So went back to our Super 8 motel, not a Holiday Inn. It was clean, so that was cool. Based on the price and the reviews, I was not expecting clean, so that was a win.
Yikes.
GP success. Bed was not super uncomfortable and it was clean. What more can you ask for what we paid? Came back the next day, played the Saturday Legacy event. I was on Blue Red Delver, my bay. I love me some Blue Red Delver. I just love Delver in Legacy, man. God, gets me hot. And we can actually beat the Depths decks now because of Brazen Borrower, which is pretty nifty. And Blue Red Delver actually plays Wasteland now, which wasn't really a thing that used to be a thing. You were like this weird counterburn deck. You didn't really want to play Wasteland like the other Delver decks, but now with some of your better, grinding options like Dreadhorde Arcanist and all that, you can actually like play like a Delver deck, like a Blue-Red Delver deck in its own right, not just like a counter
like
deck.
Like a real Delver deck.
Yeah, you're not like a counterburn deck. You're like an actual Delver deck with like, Wastelands and shit. So that's kind of cool. You got like real cards that weren't just like random dudes with prowess tacked on. So I played against Green Black Depths the first round, and my opponent was really cool. He's like, oh yeah, he's like been in the hospital for a really long time, and he was like back playing Magic for the first time in a while, and he was on Green Black Depths, and he just like slaps me game 1. Like, just didn't have very good interaction. He did the thing, and he's like, well, I just want to let you know. He's like, I don't have very good stamina because I've been in the hospital, so I'm planning to just play 2 rounds and then drop. all these events. He's like, with the break, I can like play a bunch of events with like the hour break, you know, where the third round would have been. He's like, I can just string events together and play way more Magic that way. He's like, I just want to play Magic. He's like, I'm going to scoop to you 2-0 no matter what. And I was like, well, that's really cool. You don't have to do that, whatever. Go to game 3 and just like do the Delver thing, man. Like Wasteland, Daze, you know, all the soft permissions, just like do Delver things, like kill him. Go to game 3, do the same thing again, just do the Delver murder. He like flooded out kind of bad in the third game too. So won it on my own right. Didn't even need the scoop. Got him anyways. Feels good.
Don't need your handouts.
Yeah, but he was a really cool guy. So, but it felt good to like not get a handout. I don't like when people. I mean, it's cool when people say, "Oh, you get the win." It's like, "Oh, cool. I get more prizes." But like, I like winning on my own rights. It feels better. But I've been practicing against the guy I wrote down with, Tall Mike. He's on Green Black Depths as well. So I had actually been practicing. The only legacy I've really played in the last few months has been Blue Red Delver versus Turbo Depths. It's like, I was like, why this practice is never going to be relevant.
Specific.
Yeah, very specific, but convenient in this case. So it was good that I was actually like pretty practiced in the matchup. And Mike had some extra spice in his list. It was more teched out. So I had like even more things to worry about than this list, which was a little bit less teched out for the current meta. And then I played against Rug Delver the next round. And game 1, I did Delver things, and I defeated my opponent. And then game 2, I kept a 1-lander, and then I got wastelanded, and then I didn't play any more Magic. And I died. Hashtag just Delver mirrors. Then the third game, I kept a hand that had like 4 lands in it. I was like, not again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I locked him out of mana this game for quite a while, but didn't like have like enough pressure to like close the game outright. And he was able to like claw back in and get some mana and like, you know, do things. And then eventually I had like a couple dudes in play and he lands an Oko. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And so the new game becomes don't let Oko -5 and take one of my dudes, because that's bad news. And so we get to like a turn where he has like a fetch and play and a food, and I have like the ability to like knock him down to I want to say like 2 or something. Basically, if he goes to like, because he's like, you know, kind of mana limited still, so I put him in a spot where if he goes to crack his, because I draw a bolt for the turn, so if he cracks his fetch to eat his food after he's dealt combat damage, he'll die before he can eat the food. So I was like, all right, okay. I think he'll like figure out that like when I attack, he like needs to like eat the food first. But I want to put him to the test. So I like, you know, attack in. Dang, sure enough, he has the you know the line on me and cracks the fetch, eats the food, so he doesn't just die to the bolt in hand. So I'm like, fine, I'll just bolt the Oko so it can't, you know, -5 the next turn and take my guy and turn the game around. So he passes back, and then the next turn I just kill the Oko, because you know he's out of range at that point with the food. And then I just have guys in play, and he doesn't have an Oko anymore. And just having more dudes wins the game. This is actually a really fun and interesting matchup. The Delver mirrors are always really interesting as long as one person doesn't get mana screwed. It's really weird because like both of you were just angling as much as possible to just like fuck the other person's mana and not play a game of Magic. Like neither of you wants the other person to play Magic. That's the whole goal at the beginning of the game, is like try to stop the other person from playing any Magic. Like just destroy their mana base. And then if you get past that stage, you actually have really interesting games. But the goal is to never get to that point. Who wants to have fun? Just try to get a free win.
Everything the light touches, we must wasteland. But what about the shadow area? Those are interesting games. You must never go there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Delver mirrors are weird, but they are really fun when they shape up into a longer game. And then the rug versus blue-red thing is just interesting now because like he's playing Cooting Mandrills and not Goyfs, and I'm playing Magmatic Sinkhole at this point, so like I can actually like kill a bigger guy, which Blue Red didn't used to really have good ways to kill big guys. And like the matchup just has a lot of play to it. Like Brazen Bioware is pretty good against Hooting Mandrills. So like I don't know, the matchup just felt like really. I would gladly play like a bunch more matches against of Blue Red versus Rug. Felt really interesting. So that was cool. It's actually very different than how it used to be. The decks have changed a lot since how they used to be. So this time I learned my lesson from the Pioneer event the day before, and I just ID'd and took my ticks, and I went and got an Euro. So for my $40 of entry fees, I cashed in and got an Euro, which was about what they were selling for at the vendor.
Yeah, which is not too bad, actually.
Was not what I was willing to actually pay cash for an Euro. I was like, fuck that. I'm not paying $40 for an Euro. Screw that. So I cashed in my ticks and got an Euro. And then later that day, I put in the Modern double up, $40 entry fee. I was playing Eli Cassis's blue-black Warza list. I came into some Urzas. Tall Mike, our local Degenerate Mox Opal player, is sworn off unfair decks now and is buying into fair trash just like everyone else at Great Escape. I'm excited. He has purchased a lot of very fair Magic cards this weekend. He sold a lot of old jank and bought a lot of very fair cards like Tarmogoyf. But he traded me his Urzas a while back for some like random jank out of my binder like Aether Vial. So now I can play fair Urza decks because why play busted Mox Opal crap when you can play stuff with Cryptic Command and Fatal Push? So I played that deck in the event. I got matched up against Grixis Death Shadow in the first round, and I had no clue what the fuck I was doing. I literally never played the deck before. I played one practice game against Mike before the event, and
a game
that we did not finish. I did learn that I needed to fetch for basics much more aggressively, so it was still actually very informative because I got stuck where I couldn't cast an Astrolabe and was like, this seems bad. So, playing against Death Shadow, it turns out Thopter Sword is really good against them. Who would have thought? Turns out you don't even have to be very afraid of like Team or Battle Rage effects when you can just make a pile of Thopters and just, throw the whole school bus full of Thopters in front of them. Who cares if it's like, attacking for, a billion damage when you've got a billion Thopters to soak it all up and you just gained a billion life while making the Thopters. So yeah, I did Thopter things and won that match. It was more complicated than that, but it ran pretty long. I don't remember the details very well, but it was very interesting. It was a fun match. A lot of back and forth. Kolgon's command real good. Opponent didn't find nearly as many as he would have liked to. The next round, I get paired up against humans, and I get dumpstered. Just dumpstered. I sit down and my opponent leads on like, a Noble Hierarch or something. And I was thinking about the makeup of the deck list. I'm like, this does not seem like a good matchup. And I lose game one in short order. And I look at my sideboard guide that Eli Cassis provides to people who sub him on Twitch.
It just says like humans, you lose.
It just doesn't have humans at all. I was like, huh. Look at the sideboard. Well, no Den of Winners here. I guess we'll put this for Fatal Push in. Yeah, it wasn't hot. The well was not very deep on options for humans, let me tell you. And I got run over a second time. Wow. So yeah, got slapped. Going to round 3, I have to play for my 2-1, and I get paired against Eldrazi Taxes. And Eldrazi Taxes suffers a similar problem to that Grixis Death Shadow does, in that it has a really hard time beating a bunch of fucking Thopters. Turns out lots and lots of Thopters is almost as good of a value as that infomercial you used to always see during daytime TV. Lots and lots of trains.
You mean Flicker Wisp doesn't match up well against a Thopter?
No. You know how you got the 20 DVD set of lots and lots of trains? Yeah, I had 20 DVD sets of Thopters, man. They were just coming out and thunk in sheets into play. Did not have nearly enough Thopter tokens. You can overcome a lot of a lot of problems just by making a lot of Thopters, it turns out. Way behind on board, make a lot of Thopters. Really low on life, make a lot of Thopters. Opponents got way more cards than you, make a lot of Thopters. Like, it'll all come ahead in the end. The Thopters beat all, except for Plague Engineer. Many Thopters died in the Thopter Wars to a couple of Plague
the
Engineers.
Great Illness.
Yeah, the Great Illness. But my opponent never had it at the right time to, like, convert it into a kill on the spot. I'd always, kind of buoyed my life total back up, making the Thopters that the engineer killing them all and then getting smacked was like enough for me to like dig a little bit and find an answer to the engineer and then just go back to my degenerate Thopter making ways. So came out of that one with a win, and I, since it was a double up, was just short of an Uro. And I thought about it for a bit and realized I did not want to buy loose standard packs at a terribly inflated price. So you remember you used to be able to go like, I think it was like 10 ticks a pack, and you could get a box for 360. And
yeah, it was like
got,
10 ticks back.
You got 400 for a 3-0. So you could get a box and then some. They're like
double up, right? Yeah.
No, just the regulars were 400 for 3-0. And the double up is like 8.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like 200 for 2 and 1. 2 0 and 1 is 300, and then 3 and 0 is 400, and the double up is double of all that. And so now a box is like 600 something, and like loose packs are like 20. It's like, jeez, terrible value. SCG is just reaming people. It's so bad.
Channel Fireball.
What did I say?
SCG.
Oh, sorry. No, that's slander. No, SCG, not to my awareness, is reaming people. Channel Fireball is, though. God, that pricing is bad. Yeah. They were already selling boxes basically with these events, and like they already were making money because selling a box to them is turning a profit because they're buying it, at a lower price. So they're like selling the box at an even higher markup than they would ever sell it for in cash. It's like annoyed me. So I was thinking about it. I didn't want to get loose packs, so I ended up actually just buying 100 points off of someone for $10 and bought an Uro for what equivalent of $50 basically. So I got my two Euros for 45 each basically, which is better than just paying cash for 2 Euros and not playing any Magic. So I have 2 Euros now, so I can play stupid mid-range decks in Modern.
Yeah.
But the main event was small. I took some pictures at the start of round 3, which is when everyone came off their bye. So I think that's about, some people might have dropped it, 0-2, but I think that's probably the largest size the room was for the main event throughout, the day. I think that was kind of the peak of attendance. And I'm trying to think how to describe how big it was. I think there was like I want to say there was like high 400, low 500, very, very, very low 500 if they made 500 people in the main event. And
I think I've played a side event with that many people.
Yeah, like the PTQ you did in Seattle, the Legacy PTQ.
The Legacy PTQ was, I think, only like 260 or something.
Oh, was
like
it?
That.
Okay. But yeah,
Which
it was
still insane because I had to. Oh God, how many rounds of Swiss was that?
7?
Like 6?
6 or 7 rounds of Swiss. 7? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Anyways, it was. I've never seen a main event even approaching this small. It was absurd. But there's a lot of things going against it. Right? It was sealed, which is not the most popular. I think it's the least popular GP format. I think it's probably pretty safe to assume. It was in Reno, which doesn't seem to be nearly as big of a draw as a place like Vegas. A little bit harder to get airfare there, and just it's not a lot going on in Reno. And the whole coronavirus scare being a big one. That's a pretty big factor. Yeah. And then I'm sure the snow warning on Saturday night probably kept some people from Sacramento Bay Area from driving over. So yeah, it was pretty small. And the side events weren't large either. The Legacy and Pioneer ones were in like the 30 to 40 person range, which is not the biggest. the Modern one was pretty big. Modern was definitely pulling good numbers the whole weekend for side events. Yeah, I managed to not spend that much money over the course of the weekend, and I walked away with 2 euros. So hey, had a good time. Saw a lot of good people. Was pretty fun. I saw Marshall Sutcliffe. Guy is really tall. Have you seen him in person?
He is very tall.
And you're
very tall.
You're tall. He is very tall.
You don't think that he's tall because he's always sitting down with commentary or whatever. And I remember the first time I saw him like standing, I was like, is that really Marshall? Like, is that really how tall he is? Like, what the fuck?
And he's always wearing like, dress clothes when he casts, but he was like playing in the event. So he's wearing like a plaid, button up, like a, what do you call it? My brain's working. Like what I'm wearing right now, like a flannel, like a plaid flannel. And it just made him look bigger. I don't know why, but it just made him look even taller. More like
a lumberjack?
Yes, it was red. It was red and black. He looked like a lumberjack. He was gigantic. But yeah. Oh, I got one more Reno anecdote, actually. So I have my foil signed Pauper Cube that I've talked about before. And I was looking, there weren't really that many artists there doing signings, but I always try to get, anything that I have in the cube that isn't signed. And so I was looking, and there was actually an artist who I hadn't really seen at an event that I've been to yet. And there was actually a card in the cube that I needed to get signed. It was an unhinged card. It was Ordinary Pony. One of the like augment cards or whatever, where it's like on the art, it's like ass end and front end are going into a tube. Those cards. Yeah, it's just like an above stat line 3-drop in white at common. It's like it has okay body and like an ability. It's like, just okay. Meets the cut for Pauper Cube, apparently. And so I go over. I borrow some cash from someone because I forgot to bring any cash to the event. I'm always going to bring at least a $20 bill to an event in the future because I had to like bum cash off people on 3 separate occasions and Venmo them back. And cumulatively, it was all like less than $10, I think. Yeah, it was like less than $10 in 3 separate amounts. It was awful. I felt like such a loser. So definitely going to bring at least a 20 next time I go to a GP. No one takes card there. But the events do now, which is really cool. You can like tap to pay with your phone. So that was really neat. Anyways, so I go over and she is the artist that I assume anytime they need a horse or a pony drawn, she's their lady because she did the My Little Pony cards that they had the promos for and like just various horse related art. She had a lot of animals too. Like she had like, really cute animals and stuff, but she was apparently the go-to for pony related magic cards. And I get in line to get my stuff signed and I realized, oh no, people are going to think that I am a brony. As I stand there in the line with everyone else with their My Little Pony packs of cards. I was like, oh no, I'm character assassinating myself just by standing here. And so I get up and she was really nice. I always like meeting the artists and talking to them. It's kind of cool to put a face to the art. And I've always really liked the art in the game. And I said, I've got a card you probably don't see too often. You probably don't get this one to sign very much. And I lay down my one Ordinary Pony foil. And she's like, oh, wow. She's like, yeah, I don't see this one too often. It's like just a horse standing there. It's like a pony standing there with its middle inside of a tube. It's like,
it's an ordinary pony.
It's an ordinary pony. Like she drew it as ordinary as possible. So she slaps the signature on that boy, that bad boy, and I went on my way.
So you should have asked her to do an altar for you.
An altar, yeah.
Because if she's the pony expert, turn your ordinary pony into a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
What?
A lying dog-faced pony soldier.
What is this a reference to?
This is a reference to okay, so at a rally, Joe Biden called a woman, a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
What?
Yes.
That's like some Not the Onion shit. What? I don't have any context here.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Like,
Brand, that's
like,
like,
where did you even come up with that, Joe? And so apparently, like, his sorry to get all political on you guys, but apparently, like some of his campaign staff said, like, oh, it was a line from a movie. I forget who was.
This is some brand new sentence type shit, man.
And they went and looked through all the like scripts of the movies, and they couldn't find anything about like dog-faced pony soldiers.
Yeah, the internet's always gonna catch you out if you try to make something up. What the fuck?
So it's like right at the beginning.
Oh my god. Okay. We probably don't need this put on.
Just like, no, you haven't. So I don't know. Some women says something, and he's like, no, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. It's like, wow. I don't know what your brain is doing or going through to come up with that. That's like
that's a hard
name
alter
calling of choice.
That's a difficult alter to execute on. I feel like.
Yeah, how would you know if it's lying?
That is a Steve Argyle length alter session. So about an hour.
But probably the only one who might be willing to do it for you would be RK Post.
Who was there? He was there.
RK Post will draw you anything.
He had some very political tokens. I won't go into.
He'll draw anything you ask him to draw. He doesn't give a fuck.
Didn't they like ask him to stop drawing so many dicks on things in GPs?
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
I'm pretty sure like CFB
could, like, tone down the dicks.
They were like, could you just less penises, please? Just
we're not saying no dicks, but
just less dicks, please. Please, less penises, please. Yeah. That guy's great. I wish I had like time to like go check out. So I looked at his tokens a little bit, and he had some great tokens. Actually, I think it's Andrea Raddick is the pony lady. She had tokens. She had an assassin token, and it was the goose from Untitled Goose Game with the knife in its mouth.
That's amazing.
Great A token. Really wanted one, but again, I had no cash. Had literally just enough cash to tip her that I'd bummed off of somebody with the promise of a Venmo repayment once I had cell service, because there was no cell service inside the venue whatsoever. It was awful. It was just a black hole for T-Mobile. Pro tip, next time you go to a GP, don't travel with someone that has the same cell service as you. If you both have shit service. We both had T-Mobile. Was bad. Almost got trapped in Reno. It was like, we need to get out of Reno. It was like, GPS ain't coming on. No maps here. Like, ask Mike. I was like, does it tell you what direction we're going in? He's like, nope. It was like too dark to see the mountains. I think we were going this way at one point. Drive that way for a while. He's like, yeah, you were driving in the right direction, but you can't get on the freeway from here, so we have to go back. So we had to like go back several miles the direction we traveled in blindly to hit an on-ramp to get onto a freeway, to get onto another freeway, to get onto the freeway we wanted to get on. That was cool. Not.
Well, anyway, yeah, talking about RK Post, so I have one of his tokens here.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
So this is a Diva Gremlin token. I've never played a card that produced a gremlin, but...
Yeah, he has everything.
Have a token.
He has everything. You want it, he's got it.
I want to say... I actually don't know if it was his token or not. Let me see here.
Just got it. All your stuff is on your desk, so it's easy access.
Yeah, it was RK Post. So what I really enjoyed this token. It was a clue token. It was fucking Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And
what a great token.
So what was crazy is I've never seen that before. Or at least I don't remember ever seeing it before. And I played against the lady that had mono Thraben inspectors the night before. And I literally referred to the card as Inspector Gadget. I was like, oh, another Inspector Gadget. And then the next day, I'm standing in RK Post booth and I see the the clue token. It blew my mind. I mean, it's not exactly a hard jump to make, but it was good. It was really good.
It's sweet though.
That is sweet.
Aaron Miller's tokens are nice too.
I buy only Aaron Miller tokens if I can get away with it. I have a pile here on my desk. I love his tokens.
I would continue to use them, but they're not foil Pokemon cards.
I get them all signed in gold. He has great art.
Aaron Miller, if you make foil tokens,
He does, I believe. On his website, he sells stuff on his website, and then he has a Kickstarter where he does fancy ones, I believe.
Because I've gone full foil bitch, and everything must be foil. Even the tokens must be foil.
Yeah, it's like me. Even my tokens, I want signed tokens.
So the thing is, I don't, and since tokens don't have to be the official cards, you have an opportunity to use whatever random bullshit you want for tokens most of the time. Right? I guess on coverage they hate that stuff, but
yeah, they hate it real big.
But FNM people are pretty cool with it as long as it's the same kind of token. With zombies, I make a lot of zombies, and I don't have a ton of WotC zombie tokens as it is, and certainly not foil ones. So I've been using random fucking foil Pokemon cards. Nice,
yeah. If you want to do the real pep, although it's not foil, so you probably won't, there's the really, really old, Chris Rush zombie tokens. Getting signed ones of those, real expensive. Really expensive.
Just a ball hard.
Yeah, ball hard. There's also there's some company in Asia that made weirdo tokens way back in the day, and those are really rare too. I don't know if you probably haven't seen them, but there's they have there's a couple tokens. There's a zombie one and an elf one, I think, and a couple other.
His bees.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. Aaron Miller bees, man.
Hornet Queen, terrific tokens.
Yeah, Aaron Miller makes great stuff.
Then I had these plants for
I will happily shill for him all day on the podcast. His art is great. His tokens are great. He's a really cool guy. I'm pretty sure it was him when we were at Vegas where I saw him multiple days because it was a 4-day event, and he likes to wear kind of bright colors, and he had color coordinated frames for his glasses that matched his outfits. He was wearing orange one day. He had orange glasses that day. Another day he had electric blue glasses.
Nice.
Which is that is dedication and either fake glasses or way too much money spent on prescription frames. Holy crap. Because I think I saw at least 3 pairs of glasses. So I'm hoping those weren't real. Maybe he has a really stable prescription. It's had him forever.
He could have the same prescription for years, and every couple of years he gets a new pair.
Adds to his wardrobe. I can wear orange now because I have orange frames. I don't know. But
every few years he unlocks a new color in his wardrobe.
Yeah. He's got a pretty deep archive of tokens too. He's got a lot of different types, like RK Post does, which is nice. If you like matching all your stuff, they're good artists to go through because you can have the same art style on all your stuff. Anyways, way out in the weeds on Reno there. I guess we should get into something a little bit more relevant now for the average listener, aside from funny stories. And that is, I guess we could start with SCG Indy that happened on our off week. It was a Pioneer Open. And I know probably a big surprise to all of you. I'll pull it up here for the viewers on YouTube. But wow, there was a lot of inverter.
Wow.
Surprising, I'm sure, to all of you.
4 in the top 8. Wow.
Wow, what a surprise. Inverter's a good deck. Who would have thought?
It's not that good. Loses to Just Sky Vehicles.
Yeah. I don't think it was the deck was the problem, Chris. I think it was me. But the interesting thing here is the lack of Lotus Breach. First one I see is in like 12th place.
Yeah,
and
one guy in 12th, and that's
we're scrolling after
about
that.
it.
Yeah, 44th. I think a lot of it is just people are really boarding well against it now, and it is vulnerable to a lot of different types of hate. Just permanent based, spell based, land based to an extent.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to hate it out. Like Damping Sphere, the most common, but Alpine Moon also works.
Yeah,
Stuff like Rule of Law.
not legal in Pioneer, but yes. There's the other one though, the new one, right? Deafening Silence, I think is what
it's called.
Was it?
I don't think that's what it's called.
But it was Deafening Silence. It's probably going to be in this mono white deck, so let's have a look here. Nope, not in there.
Nope, they don't play it.
It's like a single white mana. Anyways.
Rest in Peace is also good against it.
Yes, quite good. So we've got a lot of Inverter. Azorius Control in 3rd. Mono white in 5th. Golgari Aggro in 6th, which I want to take a look at here. Ooh. Now this is a deck that we used to see a lot more of stuff like this in Pioneer, and it's kind of gone away more recently, but it's the 8 Elves bunch of super sweet 3-drops deck. With like Lovestruck Beasts, Rahonis, Rishkar, Rotting Regisaur, Steel Leaf Champion, Yorvo, and then some Galtas and Great Hinges to top it off, and some Collected Cocos to Collected Companies, not Collected Cocos, to tie the room together.
Yeah, Collected Company can't get Galta, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's good.
And the Great Henge.
Yeah, the Great Henge has been in a lot of these decks for a while now. Just you poop it out when you've got some guys in play.
Pretty good with Rotting Regisaur.
Yeah. Keeps you gassed up. So, yeah, Rotting Regisaur is a pretty solid card, actually. And I think it's, basically exclusively the reason they're in black, aside from some sideboard cards. The sideboard cards are pretty good, though. Fatal Push, Thoughtseize, Golgari Charm, Lay One to the Void, having the ability to maybe cast it. And Stain the Mind, actually, quite a good card as well in these creature decks.
Oh, yeah.
Gives you some hate against Inverter and Breach and such. This deck is way too fair, but if I was going to play a fair deck, this is a cool one. Kind of like it. Powerful.
I mean, playing a 7/6 on turn 2 that's a clock.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a cool one. Got some main deck Grave Hate with 4 Scavenging uses too, so a little bit of power to fight back against stuff. Mono white in 7th, and then another Inverter deck in 8th. And then we've got a lot of Sultai Delirium kind of hanging out in the 9th through 24th. Quite a bit, actually, man. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies from 9th to 24th. Quite a few.
Yeah, I imagine this deck would be fairly popular among, it's kind of like the Jund, the fair mid-range deck of the format. Yeah.
I'd take it back. If I was going to play a fair deck, I guess this would be the fair deck I would play. Yeah, I do like that it gets to play Ishkana and Emrakul the Promised End. I did play Green-Black Delirium in Standard. And one of my...
Unfortunately, you don't own enough Urls to play this deck.
I own 2 now, but yeah. Tall Mike picked up 2 at the event, so, by our powers combined. Have a play set. I still have my Ishkanas and Emrakuls. I do not have Nissa Who Shakes the World, however.
Do you have a Eat to Extinction?
I was just going to say, I don't even know what this card does. What is this? Exile a creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of your library. It's got Surveil 1.
Surveil.
But not... I hate when they do this. They don't want...
Yeah, this is one thing I think I've bitched about before, but they make they make a keyword that does a thing, and then
they're like, we like this.
They will never use the keyword ever again in any set outside of that block.
Yeah.
even if it does the exact same fucking thing. I guess with a vague exception of sometimes the keyword will make it into like a core set card.
They'll call it evergreen or whatever. Yeah.
You know, but God, it's so annoying.
Yeah, I would prefer to have more keywords. You know, they talk a lot about how their cards are getting too wordy, and Theros was the new Theros set was definitely an example of that. God, Oracle Thassa has a fucking shitload of text on it, as do all the Titans. Or all two of them, I should say. But there's just a lot of very wordy cards. Dream Trawler comes to mind as well. And keywords.
There's a lot of fucking words.
Keywords can help reduce the amount of text on a card. Imagine, like, because what Dream Trawler has lifelink and flying, right? So, or it says it gains lifelink. Imagine if you had to like write that all out too.
It gains hexproof if you discard it. Yeah, right up that. Like if Ishkanah has Delirium, it doesn't remind you what Delirium is,
which is good.
Actually, it does.
Does it? Oh, it's probably
if there's 4 or more. Yeah,
it's got a lot of text on that card too. Yeah. But yeah, so some keywords, some stuff are not keywords. I don't think Delirium is it actually a keyword as far as the game is concerned, or is it just like a shorthand? Because they do that as well, right? Where like some stuff is like it's a shorthand, and so it'll always say like the thing and then what the thing does, and you never actually see it without the explanation.
I don't know. So like Delirium, it might just say like.
Is that what Surveil was too? Like, is Surveil actually technically a keyword, or is it just like a shorthand? I don't know the terminology for this. I'm showing my lack of knowledge. Anyways, but yeah, I agree. I think
is shorthand like a loot?
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know.
Because like loot is not a keyword.
Well, they don't print loot on the card though, right? They never say loot or rummage. I don't think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are just like fan names, whereas this actually does say like Delirium on the card. But anyways, yeah, would like to see more of that. Clean the cards up a little bit. Less text. The game already has like an absurd acquisition rate anyways, so like if someone picks up the game and can remember like what haste, vigilance, lifelink, and all that crap do, like how much harder is it to like pick up new keywords occasionally? I don't know.
Like constellation, is that a keyword?
I don't know. Yeah, constellation is just is it just rebranded?
I think Delirium always states if there's 4 or more card types, then you do this thing.
Yeah. Anyways, way out in the weeds again, as we're like to do. Heat to Extinction. Wish it just said exile target creature or planeswalker Surveil. Would be a way cleaner looking card. Anyways, yeah, this deck's cool. I wish, I gotta say, I really like Inverter, but like if Inverter gets banned, will we see more like blue-black decks of like hostage takers and what's the new 4-mana Dimir card that like you play the little game where you like put a card face up and a card face down or whatever?
Oh yeah, whatever that card's called.
This is the Oracle of Half-Truths. God, I fucking love those cards. I love like 4 and 5 mana blue-black cards that just do cool card advantage shit. But like novel card advantage, you know? Oh yeah, I'm big on those cards. I would love to play more of those. A lot of like both of those are like borderline playable in Pioneer. They're not like, I don't know if they're like not quite good enough, I feel like, at the current power level of the format, but like I think they're just like a cut below, just like slightly below. Problem is I don't think the format's going down in power level. I think it's only going to go up as more cards get printed, so I don't think they'll ever really like see too much play, which is a bummer. That Oracle of Half-Truths one especially, I really want to play with that card. I'm like, want to make it work in something. I wonder if it would work in a, oh god, I've been broken, Chris. This is bad. I've been exposed. I've been infected by Heartless Summoning. I'm like, man, what about with Heartless Summoning? Oh no.
It's still not good.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
You know what still isn't very good with Heartless Summoning? Sphinx of Utun.
What does that even do?
It's fact or fiction stapled to a sphinx.
Why?
because then I think it's like 3 mana, you get a 4/3 flyer with Heartless Summoning that foffs.
That's quite good.
It's like pretty hot, right?
Yeah, but Foff is bad. Or not Foff, sorry. Heartless Summoning is bad, as we found out in our most recent video. I think the real takeaway from that league was how good Ob Nixilis is. That card is Volakut and Prismatic Omen like wrapped into one card.
I stand corrected. Sphinx of Uthun with a Heartless Summoning in play becomes a 5 mana 4/5 flyer that foffs.
It's 7 mana? Jeez. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, Foff is a pretty powerful effect to tack onto a body. Ugh. Gross. Remember when Prognostic Sphinx was a good card?
All right, so you get a Flying Tassiger that foffs on ETB for 5 mana.
I'm out. I'm out. Not interested. I'll play Dream Trawler for that much mana.
The Dream Trawler with Heartless Summoning?
Oh my god. It's a 2/4? It's still pretty good. It attacks as a 4/5? That's good. It's still good. God, it's like, so its cost is blue, white, though? Or white, blue?
Yeah.
And this is in your Esper deck?
In your black deck?
Yeah, your fucking Esper deck? Yikes. Good luck with that one. That sounds like a painful mana base. You really need that Dream Trawler to get in.
Then you can play 1 mana Raging Registars. 1 mana 6/5.
I'm more in on that. I don't know if I'm that in, though.
Dude, then your Gulta only costs 10 mana.
Get out of here. Holy shit. You're bad, man.
And then it gets reduced less because all your creatures are smaller.
Yeah, I don't think that works out in your favor in the long run. Man. Anyways.
Your Love Strike Beast will never attack.
Yeah, you can never have a... Well, if you have a 2/2...
You'll need a 2/2 that becomes a 1/1.
Oh, man.
Oh, Rishkar, there you go.
There you go.
Just put your counters on something else.
Amazing.
They should sprint Heartless Summoning into Pioneer. It'd be great.
What is it from like Shrek where they're like, the beast has fallen in love with the princess or whatever, right? Like mocking him. It's like, just take out princess and put bear in. He's fallen in love with the bear.
It's a noble beast.
A noble beast. Is that really its creature type? Noble beast?
It's a beast noble, but yes.
Oh, that's excellent. I like that. Why is noble a creature type? I feel like we're lacking a few too many creature types to have noble be a
You know
creature
who's
type.
not a noble? Noble Hierarch. It's just a human.
Watsy, please, errata. That's the noble.
That's a flavor fail.
It's
That's
noble in demeanor, but not in encased, which is just bad taste. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a fucking druid.
Yeah,
not a noble.
It's a human druid.
Whack.
Anyways, we had another event of sorts this past weekend, which was the Modern Showcase Challenge, which I'm going to pop over to here. And Chris, this is your time to shine because boy, oh boy, do we have some Amulet.
But it was taken down by a Primeval Titan deck, but not an Amulet one. This is a no Amulet list, kind of like how people were doing that whole bug field deck back when Oko was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically that deck, but take out Okos and put in Dryad of the Elysian Grove and play some Valakuts, and bam, it's the same deck, same thing.
And the winner's name was Avocado Toast. Does that make, any deck they play, just call it like Millennial millennial Titan. They're the peak millennial with the avocado toast, right?
See, millennials, they're killing the amulet market.
My millennial eye. Oh man, way too many good jokes.
I always make fun of these decks by basically saying they're amulet. It's an amulet deck for people who aren't good enough to play amulet.
Damn. Brutal, savage, wrecked.
I mean, because like...
That's just Amulet today. Amulet is Amulet decks for people who aren't good enough to play Amulet.
Kind of true. But those decks are... Amulet's still harder to play than this deck. This deck is like... This deck is almost easier to play than Scapeshift.
Oof. Let's not get too hasty. This deck has triggers. I mean, so does that deck, but...
Because, I mean, like, Scapeshift plays Field of the Dead now, too, so they're almost of the same deck.
Yeah, there really has been kind of a confluence in all these big mana decks.
It's like, you're playing Field, so do you know how to get lands with different names? Yeah, alright, cool, you know how to play the deck.
Like, in Cran, it's like Forest.
If you have Forest and you sack Elder, should you get Forest or Snowcovered Forest? Snowcovered Forest. Oh, congratulations, you're an expert.
Little like party ball opens and confetti comes out. Congratulations, you are a winner.
Yeah, interesting that this one's splashing black instead of blue. So the typically you're playing the bug because you're really only bug because of Bajuka Bog, but yeah, you're playing blues so you could transmute Telluri West.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, this was before Dryad came out, so there's no Valakut thing in the old list.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a bunch of black mana just so you can play a bunch of black sideboard cards. You know, some trophies, some decays, the old classic 2-2 split between Cranial Extraction and Memoricide.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
Just in case.
Oh, you extract me? I got the split. I'm gonna extract you back.
It's like, you're not bringing this card against humans. Like, that's not relevant.
Yeah. It's for the mirror. It's so when you try to cranial extraction their cranial extractions.
Like, are there cards that interact specifically with arcanes that I don't know.
No. You could splice it. You could splice something onto it.
Yeah, you have no other arcanes in your deck.
You could splice on what is it? Peer into depths or whatever.
Well, you need a card with splice.
Peer Through Depths has splice, doesn't it?
I don't think it does.
Really? Oh.
I think it's just an arcane, yeah.
Oh. I think
the only cards that people play in Modern that have splice are Desperate Ritual, the Green Shoal. Actually, the Green Shoal doesn't even have it. It's Through the Breach. They splice onto the shoal. That
always is a fucking doozy when that never happens, but when it does, whew, always a surprise. Grishelbrand was like the only deck that did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did it more often than you would have wanted it to.
It's true.
Because it's a mana less to splice.
Deck's dead now, though. No more Faithless.
Just play Neobrand. Why would you play? Anyway.
So, in second place, we've got E-Tron. Who cares about that? And then in third place, we've got an actual Amulet Titan deck.
Okay, so the only thing remotely interesting about E-Tron is that it plays Once Upon a Time now.
That is true, and they play like a
forest,
right? Yeah, just one. All you need. You can have one forest as a treat.
So Once Upon a Time makes more sense in this deck than traditional Tron, right? Because you actually play creatures in this deck.
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense in traditional Tron because it's insane.
Yeah, but even better here,
it's
right?
Even insaner.
Because you can you can hit action much more reliably.
Yeah.
And it gets around your chalice, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Why play stupid ancient strings when it gets countered by your own chalice? But screw that. Let's talk about.
There's one spicy card in this list. Actually, it's got Sky Sovereign Council's flagship.
No. The only spicy thing going on here is Sundering Titan.
Ha!
to wish for against the Dryad of the Elysian Grove decks.
I did see a screenshot on Twitter of someone getting sent to the fucking Shadow Realm by this card in that exact matchup.
Yeah.
It's like they were left with like one land in play.
It was like up a 6/1.
Yeah. I think they like apologized in the chat first. Yeah, gross. Like, oh, you can have a land. I've got a 7/10. Good luck. Who's the Titan now? Anyways.
So the thing is, I own like all of Etron. Never play it.
Why would you?
Never play it. I guess I technically don't have a Sky Sovereign Council flagship.
I'm sure you could acquire one for quite a low cost.
I also don't have an Engineering Bridge, but... Or Ugin.
Turns out you just don't have all of the deck at all.
Well, Ugin the Ineffable. Anyway, screw Etron. Deck's boring. Third place, we have Punt Then Wine. Anyone who's in the know about Amulet online knows Punt. Punt is one of the more like higher profile online players of the deck. Previously known for playing the Lotus Bloom variant. He was a big advocate for that version of the deck prior to the printing of Teferi Time Reveler.
Not so much afterwards, probably.
Not so much after that. And with the rise of humans, Lotus Bloom became a lot worse as well.
Yeah. Yikes.
Running Mage, pretty good against suspend cards.
Ugh. I got delayed last night. Got a card. I think I got a Teferi delayed. Buy it.
Ironic.
Buy an Amulet Titan deck.
That's hot.
Which was also playing Through the Breach.
That's not so hot.
And 15 mana Emrakul.
Yeah. That deck is a meme.
I was consistently confused as the match went on, up until the point I killed them. Anyways,
so Punt currently is one of the top trophy leaders on the modern leagues. He was leading for a while, but I don't know if he's still up there number one. He plays just Amulet. Anyway, interesting things about his list. He's only playing one Azusa.
Yeah, what the heck, man? One Azusa.
One Azusa for Explored. Explored more powerful than Azusa confirmed.
Yeah, that one's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get behind that.
You don't think it's the truth?
Because back in the day, when people were still playing Secure Tribe Scout, which, by the way, he's playing 4 Grazer, no Snake, because why would you play Snake when you're trying to play Dryads and Zeus's? Just saying. Also, Punt is also a believer in the Boros Garrison Sun Home, not on that Hannah Battlements crap. But yeah, I don't know. Just Explorers just always felt like a very medium card. Very medium card.
I mean, that's because it is a very medium card.
I mean, I guess, like, I don't know why you play for Explore over maxing Zeus's. I guess Explore is like something you can do earlier than Azusa if you get like Inquisitioned or something. Like, they're not going to take Explore with an Inquisition, usually.
Probably not.
But it's a very underwhelming card.
Yeah.
It's a card I don't feel bad about boarding out.
Bad sign.
Azusa, though, don't feel as good about boarding that one out. Other notable things, he's on 2 Valakuts, not 1. And he's playing 2 fetch lands, which is pretty standard-ish, I guess, these days.
Oh, fetch lands. That's interesting. Just for more names.
Fetch lands with Valakuts are pretty good.
And field.
Yeah, and they're random fetch lands for your field. One weird thing though is he's playing only one breeding pool, not two. So he's playing more fetch lands, but less things to fetch with them. Which is always a bit of a dicey place to be.
Yeah.
You're playing 2 fetch lands with 5 targets? No, 4 targets.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. But I guess they tap for mana with their Dryad, so it's not the end of the world, right?
That is true.
Yeah, the Bajuka Ball came out of the main deck. 3 castles, which I agree with. Crumbling Vestige is making comeback. I kind of like
You're a fan.
Crumbling Vestige. I really enjoyed playing with this card before. It's like a ghetto bounce land. It's like a ghetto bounce land that could play your turn 1 snake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can like pick it up to make a different color of mana later if you needed to.
Hurts a lot less to get it like Field to the Deaded.
Yeah, so you can like
Or Field of Ruined.
Field of Ruined. So there's times where, you know, you want to, like, say you have 2 mana and you can play 2 lands this turn. So if you want like bounce land, you know, you still only have 2 lands in play when you did the thing. But if one of those 2 lands is Crumbling Vestige, you can go bounce land, pick up Vestige, replay Vestige, and then you'll have 3 lands in play, but still have made 6 mana that turn. So keeping that 1 additional land in play is relevant when you're trying to hit 7 different land types for, you know, Vestige, or, you know, like, so it can let you use it as a ghetto bounce land to make 2 mana to keep the number of lands in play higher than you would normally otherwise have to with just bounce lands. Which is sometimes relevant with Field, because sometimes you field with just 6 lands and you're just like, sad times. But yeah, also seeing this big push towards Beast Within in the sideboard, which I'm honestly kind of not sure about.
You said it kills Ashiok there, right?
Yeah, so Beast Within, so far as I can tell, it kills Ashiok, which is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Ashiok is one of the better cards against this deck because we really can't attack it very well. Grazer has no power. Azusa has 1 power. And, you know, Dryads only have 2, so I mean, even if they have no creatures, it takes Dryad 3 fucking turns to kill an Ashiok.
People have learned not to minus it now, too, against Amulet. It's like, no reason to. People were, like, really aggressive, like, minusing it before for no reason. Like, you're not going to actually get the win off the mill.
Yeah, I don't even, trying to mill something.
Yeah, better just to keep the loyalty high from any random chip shots.
It's like, it's basically it's a Leonin Arbor that I can't pay to just ignore. And it's an even Mind Sensor that I can't just like kill with, you know, a Dismember or something post-board, you know? So Beast Within does kill Ashiok. It kills, I mean, anything, but
gives them a beastie boy. It gets blocked by the Dryad though, right? The Dryad's 2/4.
Yeah, so matches up kind of okay there. I guess you could, in a pinch, Beast Within your Grazer and get in there. I don't know.
That seems.
Beast Within just feels very.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's a C against everything.
Yeah.
It's like never really.
It kills whatever thing you don't want, but it doesn't do it very efficiently. Yeah, it leaves behind a body. Which I guess is a little bit less of a concern if you're playing Valakuts, but.
Yeah. I assume that's the idea. Matches up really well against zombies, though, or for a little bit. Zombies get out of hand really quick, though, so. If you got 1 zombie, there's probably more zombies, so.
Yeah, and he's sideboarding 1 Uro, which I don't think Uro's very good.
You do or don't?
In this deck. I don't think Uro's good in this deck. This deck that, like, literally can't put anything in its graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, John on the Walk is pretty bad against this deck, so I can imagine Uro is, like, whatever.
Like, you're only 2 Torios, so you literally only have 4 lands that go into your graveyard, because he's playing no Gemstone Mines. So you have 4 lands you can put in your graveyard, Once Upon a Time, and, Explores?
I guess the explorers do help with that, but
and you need 5 other cards. Like, I understand it's for matchups that are much more attrition based. You know, they're killing all your dudes. You blink up your lands, so you can like try and recruit your Uro. But I just don't see Uro being escaped twice. Really, 3 times. Like, I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, in 4th place, we have more E-Tron. We'll just scroll on past that.
Oh boy, it's almost the exact same list.
Yeah, in 5th place, we've got Crabvine. This is a cool one. Crabvine with Driven to Despair. I think you get to see me get destroyed by this card and like Pioneer, right?
Oh yeah, I've been destroyed by this card occasionally from like dredge decks playing this card.
Oh my god, this card is a beating when you're not expecting it. Yeah, both halves are good too. Driven is a 1 and a green sorcery. It says until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So if they've got a nice wide board, they can draw a bunch, which might mean dredging a bunch. Or just drawing some cards. Who knows? Really good card advantage for 2 mana. In your deck, making a bunch of piddly little creatures for free. And then the Despair side is a nightmare. It's got Aftermath for 1 and a black. So if it's in the yard, they can cast it. And it says, cock my head sideways here. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain Menace. And whenever this deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So it like makes it almost impossible to block. And then it strips your opponent's hand clean at the same time. It's like sort of Feast and Famine on steroids. What a fucking nightmare. Yeah, this is like the card that like you're like a turn away from stabilizing, and you get despaired and just lose. Feels so bad.
You despair.
Yeah, it's well named. Well named. God, this card. But other than that, it's a pretty stock looking Crabvine deck. I like the 1 Gurmag Angler. I think that's pretty free in a deck like this.
Yeah, Perfect Secret Keeper is pretty sweet in this deck.
Card's really good in this deck. We have someone at our shop. We have other Mike who plays this deck. He tried a green-black version recently. I think it was like round 2 or 3. I was watching him, and he like looks over at me and he says like, "This deck sucks." As he's like losing to Jund. He like got super lucky and like managed to like pull all the wind out of the bag on that one. But yeah, it was not good looking. He got really lucky. But yeah, definitely I think stick with the blue for this deck. Crab is pretty good, and so is Secret Keeper. And having the ability to just like randomly cast Narc Amoebas and Amalgams is also nice. Also, just like Secret Keeper triggering Vengevine is nice. You can like it goes on an adventure and it's sitting there waiting for you to cash it in for that creature whenever you need to bring back Vengevines. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. So yeah, I think this deck's actually pretty powerful. It's not like all in like Dredge was to the same level. Like it can kind of play a plan B, you know. I like it. It's good. Good deck. In 6th place, we've got a Bant control deck. No Stoneforges here, but we've got Kodals and Uros, some big boy planeswalkers. And I'm noticing that Archmage's Charm is just really, really gaining market share, so to speak, in these control decks, man. A lot more Archmage's Charm seeing play these days. Just people weren't really onto it at first, and now it is seeing a lot of play. I've liked it. I mean, it's you're not getting your 2-for-1 air quotes on the counter like you do with a Cryptic, but being able to hold up a counter and then cash it in for 2 when they don't do something is a nice way to not get stuck in that scenario where you just hold up counter magic forever and never do anything. And you can ensure that you continue to hit your land drops and such, which is nice. A little easier to pair up with a Snapcaster Mage too, so kind of nice. I've liked it a lot, and it seems like other people are onto it as well. But yeah, it's interesting how control decks in Modern are not playing nearly as many 2-mana counters anymore. This deck has 2 mana leaks. That was not how they used to build the deck. Which is kind of interesting because I feel like the format has gotten faster in some ways, hasn't it?
Kinda
not, huh? Format's in a weird spot. It's kind of grindy and kind of combo-y. Like the Urza deck is, a combo mid-range deck. I wouldn't quite call it control. It can play kind of controlling, I guess, with the cryptics and charms.
God, Mystic Sanctuary is kind of a gross card.
Card is really good, yeah. Mystic Sanctuary is the truth, man. That's a really good card. Yeah, I've enjoyed playing.
You can fetch for it is pretty absurd.
Yeah, it's gross. I was playing 4 in the blue-black Urza deck, and whew, it's hot. Especially when you have crap like Emery, and you're like, oh, Emery this bobble into play, and I'll crack my fetch and put a cryptic command on top, and then I'll crack my bobble, and on your upkeep, I'm gonna draw a cryptic command. What you gonna do about it? Okay, now I'm gonna cryptic command your thing. I'm gonna bounce my Mystic Sanctuary. Then on my turn, I'm gonna bring back my freaking bobble, and you just loop it. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. But awful.
And you get a draw step in between too.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not even locked out of drawing. You still get to draw a card. So you can still make land drops and do other things. And then eventually hit an Urza, and then you have the blue mana to hold up the cryptic anyways. It's just busted.
Yeah. And so Ice Fang is kind of pushing these control decks kind of into green.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Uro and Veil are just also very good reasons to be in green.
Yeah, I agree. You don't need to play as many sweepers when you get to play Ice Fang, and control decks don't usually like playing sweepers because they don't fucking do anything other than keep you from dying. When you want a sweeper, you really want a sweeper, but the rest of the time it does dick. Codal draws you a card, which helps you hit land drops and find interaction. It's also a win con in a pinch. Verdict is just not a good card. So get to go down to 2 of those and play some Ice Fang Codals, and you're probably a lot happier camper. Having Uro is nice with these decks too, to have another win con that's beat you in the face related. Something that control decks can struggle with sometimes, It's not always the easiest to get a Jace up to ult.
Yeah, he's not even playing a single Colonnade in this deck.
Colonnade just doesn't really see play anymore. It's just so expensive, and it dies to Field of Ruin. Yeah, I like Creeping Tarpit a lot better at this point. The activation cost is so much cheaper.
Yeah. I was talking to John before we started recording. Oh yeah, so I just should play the Bant Reclamation deck command with Uro.
Yeah, man.
It seems so much better than killing them with fucking Colonnade, right?
Yeah, definitely. It makes your mana better too.
You definitely can escape it really easy in the deck that's playing 4 copies of Factor Fiction.
No, I think you should try it, actually. 100%.
Like
we were talking about with Foff, too.
Yeah, think about Foff, right? Okay, so whatever doesn't go in your hand goes in the graveyard, which means you have tons of cards to escape. But what if Uro's in the Foff piles?
There's no good Foff pile when Uro is involved. This is, an Uro and another card versus 3 cards? Okay, draw 3 cards and put an Uro in the yard, which I can escape. Do you put it in the 3-card pile? Then, they put 2 in the yard and get an Uro plus 2 other cards.
Yeah, so what if you, land, spell, land, spell versus Uro, spell. Okay, Uro, spell goes in the yard. Play my land, escape the Uro, play the other land from my hand.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
Gain 3 life, draw another card.
Yeah, it's really disgusting. Yeah, Uro and Factor Fiction seem real hot. As soon as we started kind of teasing that one out, I was like, whoo, yeah, Daddy likes. Yeah, I mean, there's no bad FOF pile with an Uro in it unless you're like about to lose the game. Then the Uro is kind of irrelevant. Unless it's to like...
It still gains 3 life. I mean,
yeah, but
could be worse.
It could be, yeah. But unless you're losing to burn, gaining 3 life is usually not relevant. But yeah. And then in 7th place, we've got another stupid Eldrazi deck. Disappointing. And then in 8th, we've got the Boomer deck. We got some Boomer Jund here. As it's become branded in our local chat, because apparently only boomers play Jund or something. I don't know.
You can tell they're boomers because they have no snow-covered basics in their deck.
Yeah, man. Jund, the way it used to be. Except for they've got some run-in 6s in here. Jund's got a lot of good cards lately. I'm glad to see it kind of coming back, creeping back. So Kazuga in 8th place is playing Jund. No Kroxa, though. Man, Kroxa in Jund has actually really impressed me. Have you played against it yet?
Just once.
I really like that it, strips the hand early, which is like what Jund wants to do. But once it stops stripping the hand, it just bolts them. So it's like it's not dead when their hand's empty, which is something that a lot of the discard in Jund kind of suffers from, But like if you get them empty-handed and have a Kroxa, you're just nining them. They're dead.
I mean, if they discard a land, they get bolted anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
So like when they played against me, of course I'm discarding a land.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting bolted by this.
So you lost. You got lightning. You got mini lightning skelementaled.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty standard Jund. 4 Liliana of the Veil, 3 Run-In, 6, 4 Bloodbraid, 3 Skoos, 4 Goyf, 3 Inquisition, 1 Pulse, 4 Thoughtseize, a Decay, 3 Push, 2 Kolaghan's Command, 4 Lightning Bolts, a Partridge in a Pear Tree, and 24 lands.
One thing I'll say is this guy is playing 4 Fulminator Mages. I've seen some Jund players swapping over to Pillage.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is largely to dodge Veil of Summer.
That makes sense.
That happened on Friday. I was sitting there with the Veil of Samurai hand. I'm like, all right. He's like, if he plays a Fulminator, like, it doesn't matter. And he's like, Pillage or Growth Chamber. I'm like, Pillage?
It deals damage too, right?
No.
Oh, no.
It's Molten Rain.
Oh, that's Molten Rain. Okay. Pillage hits an artifact too, though, so it's actually like a real sideboard card. It's just like a really bad shatter. Gotcha. They still got some Ashioks in there.
Yeah. So why play Pillage when you just Ashiok them?
I like the Huntmaster in the board. Big fan of Huntmaster.
Let's see. This guy does not like the big manas. 2 Ashiok, 1 Damping Sphere, 4 Fulminator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like nearly half of his sideboard is specifically for big mana decks.
Well, I mean, how many E-Tron decks do we see in this top 8? 3, 4? There you go.
Yeah, and he's still 8th place.
Probably lost to the person playing fucking Amulet or something. Who even knows? Yeah, was it all big mana and then like this blue-white deck or this Bant deck?
This Bant deck.
Oh, this is the graveyard deck. They probably lost to this person playing Dredgevine. Or
no, he was 5th, so he didn't win his quarterfinal either.
Oh, you're right. So it would have to have been to one of these decks. Big mana, big mana, big mana, big mana. Top 4 all big mana. So yeah. Anyways, so since we've established that Modern is a degenerate place ruled by the iron fist of big mana, long may they reign, says you, I guess. What are you super hyped about? I know we're both talking about Modern decks this week for our deck of the week. What about you, Chris?
Well, I am super hyped about Zubears.
Zuberas. Man, this is like, when did we talk about this? In like 2017 or something?
Yeah, what year is this?
It's been a while since we talked about this on the cast.
I'm pretty sure we have video of me playing Zuberas.
We do, on the YouTube channel, which we've been plugging. If you dig into the archives, there is Chris going through a real life in paper FNM with the deck. Because we used to do that.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back when I hated myself. And carried all the equipment out to every FNM. No more.
So I was going through my cards, like trying to organize them a little bit, and I found all my Zuberas, and I mentioned them to old Mike, and he was like, "If you bring the Zuberas, I'll play the deck."
Sold.
So I'm hyped for the Zubera deck, even though I'm not the one playing it. But I'm down. I'm down for some Zubera action.
Oh man, yeah. We'll have to get some pickup games in with the deck. The deck's gonna get passed around like the village bicycle because everyone's gonna want to play it in like pickup games.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's playing all these Ashok's not bad against
I was like, what are you talking about?
But I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
You know, it's no rest in peace. But I think overall Grave Hate's not super high in Modern right now, so it might be time for the old Zuberas to come in and slap some kids.
Oh man. Zuberas. You know what card's really good against Zuberas? Damping Sphere doesn't it turn off the multicolor lands or no? No, it only turns off the Amulet ones because they make more than one mana, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still good if you're Cavern of Souls and such. Okay, that's not so bad. I was thinking for a second the Damping Sphere turned off all the rainbow lands.
Yeah, Blood Moon fucking shits on that mana base.
Yeah. That's why you gotta play. We gotta play Snowberas. Gotta get some Astrolabes in there, man. We gotta workshop this shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, because the problem with the deck before, one of the problems,
Prismatic Vista.
Yeah, you're playing all these Cavern of Souls and Unclaimed Territories and stuff, but your support spells to get your Zuberas in the yard online are stuff like Grizzly Salvage, which is really hard to cast with your Cavern of Souls mana base.
Yeah.
Also, you're playing for like Cedar Wayfinder, which is not a Zubera, and your sack outlets are all vampires. I guess now you can play Carrion Feeder, but that's a zombie. Like it's
better.
It's a mess, and you actually have to like remember which ones were naming what, because very frequently you're naming Satyr with one of your stupid lands because it's like your best turn.
We could just play Hedron Crab. And like 4 Prismatic Vistas.
Yeah, this mana maze is a nightmare. So I actually think, yeah, maybe a snow mana maze might be better because you don't really play any like 1 mana spells that do anything anyway. So you might as well like play some Astrolabes in there, do something cantrip on turn 1, and then you'll always have your turn 2 green for your Satyr or a Zubera.
Dude, you gotta, it's like I was saying, you gotta sideboard out some of your sack outlets post board against creature decks and bring in some Dead of Winter.
Just play a bunch of Zuberas, Dead of Winter, and watch.
Stack up a bunch of triggers, kill your opponent's board, and then you get a bunch of Zubera triggers, and then you just rally them all back.
Man, Rally the Ancestors. What a card.
Whew. Yeah. Oh.
Also a very hard card to cast with Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, white. Yikes.
Yeah, so you're playing this deck. You're playing this deck with 8 5-color lands that don't actually make colors for spells, and a green-black card, and white cards.
Yeah, what a fucking disaster.
I also played Return of the Wraith, which I think is triple white.
Yeah, something like that.
The triple white X Convoke? Oh my god.
Yeah, the Convoke was key. You really needed to have the white Zubera. Yeah. My god. I wonder, trying to think like what other ways you could get like colored mana effectively. Oh man, it's the Zuberas aren't even legendary, so you can't play like
nope.
The Mox. The Mox people are playing Mox Amber.
No, Mox Amber, yeah.
Oh man.
I think Astrolabe's pretty good.
Yeah, Astrolabe seems like a winner. Hmm. Hmm. You have to look through the new sets that have been printed and see if we got any spicy cards to add to the deck. Wasn't someone playing like Hondens at F&M like a few weeks ago? I want to say.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I think they were playing the Honden deck. I like looked over and my eyes kind of like bugged out a little bit. I was busy playing my match. So I never really get to see like what the hell was going on. But I definitely like heard someone talking about their Honden being like on or something. I was like, what the fuck? Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you hyped for, John?
So I'm really hyped to be terrible. I picked up, man, I'm always like Johnny on the spot with these sweet ass busted decks. Like I see someone post something on Twitter and I'm like, that looks busted. And I go and I like check the deck out on like my rental account before all the prices shoot up. And then I'm like too busy to play it for like a week. And like everyone else is like, oh my God, this deck is busted. And the prices shoot up. So like last week, I think sometime, Pascal Maynard posted something about this modern Jeskai Breach deck. And I was like, I saw it like, I want to say like 15 minutes after he posted it. And I like looked at it and I was like, yep, that looks busted. And like checked everything out except for grinding stations, which weren't available. So I bought them on Moto. And it's like, yeah, this seems like it's going to spike. And then like now it's like $50 or something for a playset of grinding stations online. Might just need to flip them. Anyways, I like finally played through a league last night. And the deck is really good. It feels like super busted. I had no clue what I was doing and like slapped Amulet. And then I beat some other deck. I don't even know. And then I beat Demir Wurza in like really long grindy games. And so I slapped Amulet. I beat Blue Black. And then I played against Jeskai Control, which was like playing like Narset and like all these awful cards you would never want to play against. They had like removal for my Emeries, which is bad because you like need Emery for the combo. So your Mox Amber is turned on and yada yada yada. Anyways, I was locked for the win. They had like no way to interact, and I just needed to cast 2 more spells, and I timed out for match win. So I was playing on a laptop on like I was under like a kotatsu, like a coffee table basically that you like sit under. So I was like sitting on the ground playing on a laptop with this little rinky dink like wireless mouse that was too small. So my computer is like lagging every time I try to like eat stuff for Underworld Breach. And I didn't have enough screen space to spread out my graveyard. And I had no clue what I was doing, like trigger wise, like how to efficiently stack it. The game was like 150% winnable if I had just played like, 10 seconds, if even like less than that faster. I think I was talking to someone while I was playing too, because I was like streaming it to them on Discord so they could watch. And like so many ways I could have played like just slightly faster and won the match. That kind of hurt. And then I lost to Blue White Stoneblade because I'm bad. And like they like didn't have blue mana in like the first game or whatever on like turn 2 or 3, and I had the combo and I was like, okay, like the only thing I lose to here is like Force of Negation. I was like, let's play around Force of Negation. And then like I just didn't sequence right because I'm just bad, and combo decks are hard, I guess, for me to play. I don't know. I was having difficulties with sequencing a lot with this deck. And then like, oh, they had Force Negation. Like, oh, I didn't like do the thing right. I like didn't have enough mana to like Metallic Rebuke back like I wanted to, and then I ended up losing the game. It's like great. And then I lost another one to this like green red moons deck. I don't know if you've seen this, Chris. They're playing like Clothis, God of Destiny, and like 8 moon effects and not Rampant Growth, Fertile Ground, the one mana one that sticks on a land on a forest, and Arbor Elves and Bloodbraid Elves.
It's Ponza without the Stone Rains.
Yeah, but they're playing Clothis. Clothis is actually really good against the Jeskai Breach deck, because if you just mill over your Thassa's Oracle, they just fucking eat it. It's gone. So that's a problem. Also, I just had no clue what the hell I was doing. God, I have no clue. Like sequencing with this deck, it was bad. I was just, I don't know. I was like smoking crack or something, dude. Every time I would like do a thing and be like, why did I do that? That's stupid. Like, but just every turn of every game for the entire league, I was just like, why did I do that? That seems very suboptimal and bad. The next turn, I'm going to do this turn better. Pass the turn. Wow, that seems really suboptimal and bad. Like just every fucking turn. There's so many decisions and like little things you can do. And I was just like failing at all of them and still winning. Like the deck is berserk. Dance of the Manse, real good. Like pay 4 mana, put an Underworld Breach and a Grinding Station into play. Very nice. Muddle the Mixture, you can transmute for your Underworld Breach, but it's also just a counter spell. Station. Yeah, or Grinding Station. It's either half of the combo, also just a counter spell. Like, okay. Yeah, you transmute for your combo piece, and then you breach, and then it's just in the yard. So if they try to interact, you just breach it back, and it's a counter spell for blue, which is the mana you're making with your freaking Mox Amber. Anyways, it's just gross, really gross. Hot tech there. And then Teferi is just good as always. Teferi just like turns off like your opponent's countering your spells. It bounces hate pieces like Leyline of the Void, Rest in Peace, whatever, Cinder Vines. I've seen a lot of things get bounced by Teferi against this deck. Well, I've been watching other people play it and playing it myself. Just everything gets bounced. And then like people try to bring in Narset, and Narset's not even that good against it. Because like you just don't care. You don't need to draw cards the turn you're going off. Cards. And then like I had because it's got a Jace Wielder Mysteries in the board, and so I actually had to like, I didn't have access to Oracle for whatever reason, so I like had to try to win with Jace. So I just made a bunch of blue mana, and then I cast a Cryptic Command, and I bounced the Narset. Then I did the thing with the Jace and won. It was like, cool, whatever. And then you can bounce Underworld Breach back to your hand with Teferi, so you can have like a soft combo turn where you just like accrue resources. You just like play Breach, get some crap back, like some 0 mana spells, like play a bunch of like baubles or whatever to draw cards, and like just eat random shit from your graveyard, just like to like refuel your hand, and then you just like bounce the Breach with the Teferi you played, and then like they have to kill a Teferi, otherwise the next turn you're probably just killing them because you have all these cards you just drew plus a Breach still. Fucking stupid. Deck is really dumb. I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna like, there's a ban and restricted list update next week I want to say. I don't think they're banning Underworld Breach in Modern because it hasn't really done anything in Modern yet, but this thing is breaking out, man. This deck is really good. Like this Teferi is really gross with this deck. I think Teferi is like what really makes it like powerful, because it like it turns off all forms of interaction, really. Like they can't counter stuff, and you just bounce any hate card, really.
Yeah, the deck probably shits on all these Titan decks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, playing against Titan did not feel bad at all. You have enough interaction to kind of slow them down. You've got like either bolts or galvanic blasts to like kill the early creatures that like ramp before they can really do their thing. Grazer would be good, obviously, but like you have a window to interact against like Azusas and Scouts. So, oh, and you have I like Blast because it kills the Dryad too. The Dryad of Elysian Grove. The deck can do a lot of dumb stuff, like it has like turn ones where it plays like turn one Emery, and then has like Amber to like Metallic Rebuke like on turn one. It's like really gross. Like zero cost like zero cost Amber, Emery, hold up, Metallic Rebuke.
Yeah,
okay,
it's pretty gross.
Yeah, did that like multiple times during the league. And then you just like start cycling baubles back every turn to draw cards. Just like pull way ahead. Yeah. Anyways, So that's what I'm super excited about. I'm going to attempt to be less shit. I think playing on like a full size desktop, if I can have space to actually spread my graveyard out and like not having the computer lag and having like a decent mouse and the whole kit and caboodle is going to help. I also think I need to like, I think you can use like, I was clicking on the yeses for like triggers on grinding station. You can like hit 1 or whatever to like say yes. That's like way faster. See.
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3.
Whatever the default is. Yeah.
Whatever the default is, yeah.
It's just like minimizing the amount of mouse travel you have to have. I think you still have to like.
Oh, I think it's 3.
You can't like get rid of all the clicks in the combo. Like you do have to click on some of the stuff, unfortunately. But you can definitely speed it up by quite a bit. Save some time. I was like watching people like stream it, and I was like, okay, I want to like watch how they like navigate the combo to see if I can pick up any tips. You know, like how do they do it? Like how efficiently are they doing it? You know, and their opponents just always scooped when they had the combo. Nice. And my opponents never scooped when I played the league. They all made me do it. It's like fuck. Probably because I was just like slower in general at playing, so I had like less clocks. It was like, oh, maybe if I make him do it, he'll like lose to time. Whereas like the better players, it was like they had 20 minutes on the clock or whatever. No one wanted to like waste their life. But yeah. Anyways, I think that about wraps us up. Look forward to that being our update next week. We'll have our video coming out then, so maybe if it's groundbreaking, we'll talk about it a bit in the video. Maybe we can watch Chris play Amulet and talk about the BNR update. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Probably time for a serious deck for next week's video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Do you have anything else to add, Chris?
No. We'll keep you updated on how Zuberas end up.
Yeah, definitely gotta check back in on the Zuberas and see how that goes. Maybe we'll post our list on Discord once we shop it up. Get it spruced up. We'll share that one. Maybe we'll do a video with it. The next video we do, not the next one. We're gonna do a serious deck, but the next for fun deck, maybe we'll do Zuberas on Moto and get slapped around a little bit. Or maybe just throw in a bonus game or two on another video in the free room or something. do a league with something and then have some bonus Zubera videos at the end. Game or two in the free room. Anyways, thanks for checking us out and sticking around to the very end. If you're wondering where you can find more of our content, you can head on over to mtgconflux.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter under the same name. You can check out our video content I was just talking about on our YouTube page. And you can support us and join the MTG Conflux community at patreon.com/MTG Conflux or by buying MTG Conflux shirts and swag on redbubble.com. Check out the links on our Facebook and Twitter pages. If you have any suggestions or comments, please reach out to us. We'd love to read them. And again, we really do appreciate you sticking around, and we hope you'll join us in the next one.